Hey, good to see you today. It is a new week and lots of things to be doing, and glad to have you aboard. And let's see here, we have to turn this down. That should keep it from making the big squeaking noise. So another flying start here, and no code today, so that's pretty neat. I hope you're having a great week as you're getting started, and good to have you joining us. Just filmed last night, new channel trailer for the next couple of months and content for five morning devotionals on the Larry the Guy from Michigan channel. So we're over here in Exodus 28 now and plowing on and getting into the priest's garments and all that business here, going line by line through the text. So I just will share with you. I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna go ahead and share with you the thing that was the most striking thing that I noticed. I don't know if it'll be striking you. I brought over my ESV today, the ESV translation. It is. I've been pretty impressed as I compare text at different times. I like a very literal text. And but anyway, I've noticed the ESV is really good reading. The way it's really good English. So yeah, I'm getting more appreciation for the ESV. Still like the NASB, which we're using. I notice there's quite an echo in here. I should have remembered that. So I don't know if I'll use this space in this way next time, but hopefully you can endure today. So I'm looking at Exodus 28, and it's going through, the different aspects about the priest's garments. And so I was looking over here at this business about the bottom of the ephod. And, the high priest has this very deluxe setup here, which we'll be going through the next 5 days or so. But as you get down to the bottom, verse 34 and 35, something quite striking, something just to me very striking, although I've read it more than 100 times, I'm sure. So it's talking about the bottom of the garment. Now watch this. A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate around the hem of the robe. So this is at the bottom of the garment. This is verse 34. At the bottom, the high priest, when he goes there to do his business, is priesting. Priesting, is that a verb? But at the bottom, he has this decorative business around the bottom, and there's alternating bells and pomegranates. Now, watch this, verse 35. And it shall be on Aaron when he ministers, and its sound shall be heard when he goes into the holy place before the Lord, and when he comes out, and here are the words, so that he does not die. So that he does not die. Friends, God's house, the tabernacle, the inside the sanctuary, there's the courtyard with the screen out around it, and then you have the bronze altar, and then you have the actual tabernacle tent, the sanctuary building with the holy place and the most holy. God is so holy. And the high priest only goes into the most holy place once a year. And it's only the high priest. And it's only for the very specific thing, and then he's done. He does not linger there. But during the rest of the year, as he goes through and does his ministry, when he goes into simply the holy place, the first room of the tent, he has to be wearing his ephod and the whole business here. And he would even lead the other priests in and lead them out. But as you approach to enter, and remember that the curtains are standing open, so people who bring their sacrifice to the bronze altar in the courtyard, they can kind of look in there and see, oh wow, that's inside God's house, right? They can see that. But when the high priest goes in and his priests go with him, he has to be wearing the ephod with the bells hanging at the bottom. The bells have to be there so that he does not die. God is so holy that priest, not even just a regular priest, there's nobody higher. The high priest, he has to be wearing this, he has to make a noise as he approaches. When I was pastoring up in Ruby Ridge and up in northern Idaho in that area for a period of time, I would go up in the woods and I would go out alone many times, go hiking in the forests of northern Idaho. And we got stuff up there called grizzly and black bear, and they have cubs and things, and every now and then you run onto a bear in the woods. Whenever I went with my kids, it seemed like we never saw the bear because they made too much noise. And this is why they say when you're out in the wild, you know, you make noise so that the bear knows you're coming and he can kind of hide away or make a noise back, and you can go, oh, careful time. So here we're looking at God's house, and when the high priest, who is the highest guy, when he goes to enter in, God is so holy that the high priest has to signal that he's coming by making a noise, just like you and I would be in the woods, and if we didn't want to run into a surprised bear, we would maybe make more noise. I kind of wanted to see the bears, and so I found out I could go alone and be more quiet, and I could see the bears. So now the high priest has got these bells, and God is so holy that if he didn't wear them, if he would just enter God's house, like, have you ever had somebody come into a room you're in? One time we were pastoring a church, I believe it was a church in Utah, and in that church we had a parsonage built in. It was on the same structure as the church, and so we lived in on the building that attached to the church sanctuary. And there was actually one door, if not two, at least I remember one door, that entered right into our dining room from the church. And so we would normally, you know, normally there was nobody there to run in, but once in a while we had something weird happen, like we're in our house, and suddenly the door pops open and somebody walks in unannounced into our house from the church. So I really didn't quite mean to do it that way, but that was what happened. So we didn't have a lot. When you enter God's house, you don't just walk in unannounced, you've got the bells going. So anyway, that was an interesting piece to me, to notice the holiness of God. Remember, the sanctuary system is how God removes sin from his people, how he takes it away. And the whole gospel plan is to remove sin and take it away so that God can dwell with his people and his people can dwell with him. And sin, you know, intervenes. Sin prevents that communion. So the sanctuary system is there to remove sin from the camp. So even the high priest, however, in his daily duties of ministry, even only going into the holy place, not the most holy place, bells or funeral. Anyway, I just found that to be a very stimulating thought in reminding me that he is the infinite, I am the finite. He is the creator, I am the creature. He is holy, I have sinned. I need to approach him through Jesus. Jesus is my Savior. I am not my Savior. And so the high priest himself, people would hear the bells and know, oh, the high priest is entering the holy place. So anyway, just a striking mental picture if you haven't ever thought of it in those terms. Don't forget, God is holy. And we live in a time when everybody has forgotten, you know, God is holy. God is just this big fluffy fluff ball, amorphous fluff ball. He'll just, whatever you want to do, just do it. It's okay. Hey, we're having a big party for eternity. Come on in, you're part of that. You're part of the kingdom. No. Nope. That's not the way it is. So anyway, interesting business, even as we're continuing to study in the book of Exodus over there on Larry the Guy from Michigan channel. So more of that on the way, and coming along. Let me just give you a couple of other updates here. We now have 4 Horizon Watch videos. I'm a little bit behind, like a month or more behind my plan, but the next Horizon Watch newsletter, I need to whip that together this week. And so we'll be putting that all together. And then I have some special plans for the next one after that. So I want to get this done and kind of begin working on those special plans. And I'll say maybe more about that in the future. Right now it's vaporware, right? Because like it doesn't exist yet. So, but anyway, let me move on to a couple of other bits. Later today, I hope to film my next YouTube short for the Repair the Breach WO channel. We're trying to do these little 60-second ones now on biblical interpretation. And so the first couple of these we're dealing with some history you may or may not know. So that will be probably later today filmed, and maybe it'll drop tomorrow morning. That's what I try to do. So that's coming up. I've got church board tonight, so I've got a lot happening today. You know, church board doesn't just happen, and then there's hours. So anyway, that's coming up. But anyway, let me flip gears here a little bit, and I have a little project that I'm heading for in the fall. And I'm going to just give you a little, just a momentary sneak peek on it. Have you ever heard of this guy? Plato. Yeah, Plato, that guy. Well, this is the Phaedo, and it looks like you're getting it backwards there because of the camera, maybe you're not. Anyway, this is, I've got the original Greek, I've got here the English translation, I'm working on my Greek. But this fall, I'm going to be doing a series, I'm not sure if it'll land on the internet or not. I'm going to do another a short set of evangelistic meetings. We just finished a short set we did here. So in those four, we have 4 hits. The first one, the second one was 2 prophetic grids. We studied Revelation 13 and Revelation 18. The third one was Mark of the Beast, Fact or Fiction. We studied the last part of Revelation 13. And then the last one was the Jesus and the Seal of God. We went through the Bible and walked through and saw these amazing times all the way through the Bible from Genesis to the end where God seals and protects his people. And so that was kind of our spring series. And we had some people come to that, but we need to advertise it better. But this fall, I'm planning to do something different, and this fall I'm going to be doing some presentations on hell. Is there such a place? What does the Bible actually teach? How is man made? What happens when man dies? What does the Bible really teach? Because so many people don't understand what the Bible really teaches. And I'll just give you a little sneak thought about this. This idea of the immortality of the soul, that humans are naturally immortal, not biblical. It's not biblical. God alone has immortality, 2 Timothy 6. If you go to 1 Corinthians 15, near the end, you find what? That immortality is a gift that we receive. If it's a gift, you don't already have it. Just okay? So God will give the believers immortality, but we don't have it until he gives it, right? Some people have this view, and Hollywood builds it up, and it all goes on and on about how we all have this little immortal soul that kind of can do this kind of floating, flying thing, you know, and go here and there. Well, listen, where did that idea come from? Is that a Bible idea? No. Plato, the Greeks, Greek philosophy, that's where you get the immortality, the common view of the separate immortal soul. And the Phaedo is the book that describes, you remember this story, right? You've heard a little bit about this story. Socrates, he was condemned for messing up the minds of the youth in Athens or somewhere there in Greece. So they gave him a big trial, he did his big reasoning thing, and in the end they said, death. So he was sentenced to die. He had to drink the hemlock, drink the poison. So the Phaedo is his last buddies. They're hanging out with him. They're having a little discussion, and Socrates gives this big blob about the immortality of the soul and the way it really works. And this is, by the way, when would this be? 399 BC. Okay, got it? So about the time, you know, the last book of the Old Testament, the Tanakh, the last book there is Malachi. We think that was around 420, 20s, somewhere like that BC. So just about that very time, over in the Greek part of the world, Socrates and Plato and these guys this stuff's happening right here. So this is the translation of it, and I've been reading through, and there's just some interesting business itself, and it's too much to go into here with the philosophy and why it works out that way. But anyway, we're going back to the original sources. This is this, and I've got Plato's Republic, book 10. I've got all 10 books, but those are some of the very key pagan, heathen sources for the idea that man is naturally immortal. not a Bible idea, because we can receive immortality from God, but we're not naturally immortal. We don't have a soul, friend. We are a soul. Genesis 2:7, God took the dust of the ground from the earth. God took and he breathed into Adam's nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul, a living being, right? So that's how it really is that right now in this room, there is one soul. I'm the only guy here, right? So I am one living soul, one living being. And there are, presumably, are angels here as well, but I can't count them. So I don't know how many angels are here. But friends, this is the pagan, the heathen, the corrupting source. This is it. And yeah, I don't think I'll start here. I might read you a part, but no, I'll just wait. I don't want to wear you out here. So anyway, some business there that's coming up, and very interesting to see the original heathen sources and recognize that in the very early centuries that in the church, what did the church do? People in the church wanted to win souls. They wanted to spread the gospel, which is all good. But they went and they took and they tried to go and make a bridge from the pagan world into God's world. And sometimes when you try to make that bridge from the pagan world into God's world, sometimes you what's it called? You make a mistake. And when they incorporated the natural immortality of the soul into Christianity, they made a whopper of a mistake. So that is, I know it's not the common thing. I know that doesn't go along with the movies you watched from Hollywood. I know it doesn't go along with what you heard, maybe in your Sunday worship service. I know it doesn't go along with probably what you heard at the last funeral attended where they preached Aunt Jenny up into heaven. But just the same, at the end of the day, we always go back, and the question is always, what has God revealed in the scriptures? What does the Bible teach? What is God instructing us about the way the world truly, really, actually is? That's the question. The question isn't what do you want, what do I want? The question isn't what is comfortable. The question is, what is our God telling us? What, out of all the things he could have told us? He gives us a book, a vast book, 1,600 pages, 1,400 pages. What did God put in here? What was so important that he said, I'm going to preserve that for centuries. I'm going to preserve that for millennia. I'm going to give that to my people so that they have some clue. Because the devil's going to put nonsense out there. You know, from day one, God knew that. And so God gives us a revealed religion, as the Mormons say. I don't like to really quote out the Mormons, but because they're wrong about just about so many bits. But truly, it is true. Christianity is a revealed religion. God has revealed it. He's put it out here in plain. We have the scriptures, and we can trust them. Can we trust the government? Can we trust our multi-letter agencies? Can we trust the corporations that package our food? Can you think of anybody you can trust today that isn't likely to mess with you and force something upon you for their own personal selfish benefit? Study Revelation 18. In Revelation 18, you've got all false religion. You've got the kings of the earth, the political leaders, and you've got the merchants, the corporations, the big giant corporations that are selling you all the stuff that you have, almost everything in your house. Maybe it was made in China and shipped over here, or some big corporation made it. You're probably watching this video on electronics that came from Southeast Asia, very probably. So giant corporations are involved. It's just the way it is. And so, friends, God is for us. He has sort of given us clue beforehand. There will be a unity of all false religion, all political leaders, all mercantile, more or less all mercantile, corporations, businesses, wealthy guys that like to, design and release designer mosquitoes. People like that. Don't want to live next door to that guy. But yeah, the mosquitoes are already released, so stand by. Anyways, these guys are with their own, ideology, their own way of looking at the world. There they are. They're in our world. They're running wild, and that's okay. God's still on his throne. He is still for you. He is still for me, and he will take us on our way to a much better resolution. Right now, we're in this conflict between good and evil. Right now, God is sort of like giving us the rope. Go ahead, guys. Let's see how well it goes when you do it your way. And this is a classroom setting. We're learning about the conflict between good and evil. We're learning whether we can trust God or not. We're learning whether we can trust ourselves, humans, or not. And I've figured it out. We can't trust ourselves. We can trust him. He died on the cross for me. His hands were spread out on the cross for me. He had his hands or his wrists nailed to the cross for me. It's just beyond understanding how good God is. How could you measure it? But he designed us. He designed this universe for good. Yes, it's been graffitied by Satan and his imps. Yes, they're trying to mess with people. We're going to just take people and reshape them and remold them and turn them into what we want them to be. Yeah, I get it. That's what's happening. We're learning. God is, letting out the line, and he's letting us kind of learn the hard way. And in eternity, we'll know that no, we can't trust that. We can't be selfish. We can't be self-invested. We need to be other-focused, other-love. We need to look to other people and what's best for them. We need to work in those kind of moral terms instead of there are 12 cookies on the plate. Nobody's looking. I've got a bag here. I could swipe this stuff right now. Because that's kind of what you'd like to do. So we're going to a different place. Hallelujah. Praise his name for that. All right, let's see. Anything else we wanted to say? Lots of stuff happening this week. I want to get some more stuff out to you. Now, yeah, I mentioned 1, 2, 3 ago, the Radical Spirits book and all that. Hopefully this week I can finally get some progress on that and get that going too, maybe. So watch for that. A book reaction to Radical Spirits that I've already talked about previously, won't talk about it more. And then this is the big stuff coming for Repair the Breach WO. Going to do a major video on the relationship between feminism and spiritualism and women's ordination. So that's my number one stuck in my brain thing. I just need to do it. So there's lots of things to be doing this week. All right. Friends, God bless you. God be with you. I will read any and all comments you present here. And I'm sure I left out a few things I planned to talk about, but I guess house and rust. Don't just stare at the screens all day. Go out there and do something real in the real world. Trusting God. He is your helper. He has good plans for you. All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you for joining in, and I hope this has been of some interest to you and a benefit to you. Let me know if I'm wasting your time. Let me know. If something needs to be adjusted, let me know. We'll take it from there. All right. We appreciate you folks and all you're doing for the channel. Come and watch some more stuff. That's why it's there.